talking.
Hooday, Bengals fans. Welcome to the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. I will be joined in just a few seconds by our co-hosts as they are buffering in. There they are. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you, but we cannot see you.
Oh boy.
Okay.
It's coming. Trust me.
Wait, here we go. Here we go.
We're the Bengals
They're
defense.
still buffering in.
We're the Bengals offense in the second half. It's all good.
Oh, that's not. That's.
Hey,
there we are. There we are. All right, here we go. He is Eric. He is Mon. Justin is here with us. I am Jake, and this is the Bengals Pulse. Just like Eric said, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals, our victorious Cincinnati Bengals. First of all, we want to give a huge shout out to our guy, Darth Bengal. Thank you so much for these awesome Bengal Pulse necklaces. I feel like Flavor Flav. What do you think, Mon? Little Flavor Flav. A little yes. So thank you very much, Darth Bengal, for these. They are awesome. Mon and I love them. Hey, listen, it was ugly, guys, but we are playing next week. Still in this thing. There's still a chance. You're still saying there's a chance, and here we are. We have a lot to talk about. Kind of a crazy game today. Like I said earlier, a little bit ugly, but a good first half. Defense played well, but let's get to the game real quick before we get started. Mon, initial thoughts on this football game?
I really enjoyed the first half. I disliked the second half quite a bit. A win is a win. Bengals needed it. I'm never going to complain about beating the Cleveland Browns. They've had our number the last few years. It's good to get that victory against them, but third quarter was absolutely hard to watch for the offense. The offensive line was just overpowered. I know they had some reserves in there, but you got to be better than that. It's on the coaching staff to figure out a way to slow down that pass rush because Joe was hit a lot. I think he was sacked 3 times in the third quarter. It was tough to watch, but hey, we won by 18 points. I'm never going to apologize for that, and we live for another week. And things are getting really interesting.
Yeah, Justin, initial thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know I agree that was a bit of a ugly and sloppy game at times. But yeah, whenever you can beat the Browns by 18 points, especially considering recent struggles against them, I'm going to take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday, especially today. So, yeah, overall, it was uneven performance, but the Bengals overall were pretty dominant and pretty happy with the outcome in spite of some of the struggles.
Eric, initial thoughts?
Yeah, it's feels like the most weird 24-6 victory ever. You know, we have a Cade York missed field goal. We have a Joe Burrow strip sack where we could have gotten at least a field goal there. We should have won this game by a whole lot more. All I can say is I didn't get a text. I got maybe one text from Mr. Owens saying this defense is awful. This defense played what we needed today. They picked up the offense when the offense wasn't playing well in the third quarter. 3 turnover game, multiple sacks. They credited us for 5 sacks, but I think that we had 7. I think that one that Mike Hilton got initially, they call it a running play. The defense picked us up when we needed to be picked up. They made the turnovers. We could have gotten 2 or 3 more turnovers if we weren't fighting over the ball ourselves. This is the kind of defensive performance that you need in the playoffs. They bend but don't break, and then they show up when they need to show up. And that's what we need if we're going to continue to make this run. This mythical run that I've been screaming at since you guys were talking about who we drafted with the top 5 pick. I've been saying we're going to go all the way.
Here we go. Okay. All right.
Oh, I got the receipts, buddy. I got the receipts.
Don't say you all. Just right here.
Mr. 17 and Joe.
Hey, listen.
Hey, get me in the show. Get me in the show. Listen, I did coin a new phrase that I'm good. It's got to go viral. Joe Dini. Joe Burrow pulls out another Houdini-like touchdown pass. He is Joe Dini. Put it on a shirt. Put the Pulse logo on it, sell them, and we'll all retire.
Yeah, we're definitely
like a mafia guy from the Goodfellas.
Listen, we're definitely getting rid of Lou Dini, right? We're still getting rid of the Lou Dini thing. Did my dad text you? Because The only Mr. Owens I know is my dad. I am not Mr. Owens. Let's make sure that's
Cool.
I don't even that's coach. I don't even let him call me Mr. That's cool. Now, Mr. Abu Hassan, I get that, but no. Let's talk about this, guys, because obviously we want to talk a lot about the defense. They played great today, as Eric pointed out. Joe Burrow, though, I mean, this guy is in just a different stratosphere than every other quarterback that is playing right now. He joins. Listen to this, guys. He just tied Dan Marino for 7 straight games with 3 touchdown passes. He is 1 behind Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and 3 behind tying Tom Brady. Again, this guy. I mean, how is he not going to be in the talks for MVP? I don't care about record. How can you look at that and not put this guy in the MVP race? I want to get your thoughts on this really quick, because he's just playing on a different level than everybody else in this league.
Yeah, if the Bengals had a winning record now and they were in the playoffs, I think he would get serious consideration for it. It's just not going to happen with a losing record. He's been phenomenal. His stats are what they are, but they look at the win-losses a lot. And with Barkley playing the way he is with the Eagles, it'd be hard to probably win it anyway. But he's phenomenal. We're lucky to have him, and it's just I'm still happy and excited about what's happening. We do have a chance. It's getting better each week, but it's frustrating at the same time when we see what he has done, what Chase has done. This team should have a better record if we just had a better defense. And man, there's a lot to talk about in a few weeks when the season ends. It's frustrating.
All right, well, let's talk
it's
about.
Not ending until February, Mons.
I said a few weeks.
That's like
Eric says February.
I said a few weeks.
Hey, listen. First of all, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Thank you, guys. We still got some listeners that are on the we're not making this thing. Listen, crazier things have happened in the NFL. The Bengals, all I know right now is when the Bengals win next week, they are playing for a meaningful game the last week of the season. And if you were to tell me that 4 weeks ago, I would have told you you're crazy. So let's take it as it is right now. And because I promise you, nobody wants to see this team in the playoffs. Let's talk about team stats real quick. Third down was a struggle today. The Bengals 4 for 11. The Browns 3 for 12. On fourth down, the Browns 1 for 3, obviously, which really helped this Bengals team get a win today. Total plays, the Bengals only had 56 total plays, guys. The Browns had 63, but the Bengals had 326 total yards to the Browns 273. The Bengals had one more drive than the Browns, and then obviously rushing wise, the Browns 148 on the ground, the Bengals 116. But this game really came down to turnovers and sacks, right, Justin? Bengals, we saw, and we're going to talk about how well these young guys played today, this defensive line played today. But 5 sacks for the Bengals defensive line and 3 total turnovers. Justin, your thoughts on this Bengals defense today, and a lot of young guys making plays out there.
Yeah, they're across the board. As you mentioned, the 3 young defensive linemen all got sacks: Jenkins, Johnson, and Jackson. So that was nice to see. But it wasn't just the sacks. I mean, there was pressure all day long. I thought the Bengals, other than a few runs that they gave up, especially early on, they played really great up front. Jordan Battle had a nice day. There by the end of the game, you had guys fighting over interception opportunities. So it was really an all around good performance. I wouldn't necessarily say dominant because, as Eric said, there was a bit of a bend don't break factor. The couple big plays in the end zone, a fumble recovery, and interception that prevented the Browns from putting points on the board. But overall, yeah, it was a really nice, well-rounded performance. Wish we would have seen a few more of these out of this defense this year. Things might be a little different right now if that were the case.
Agreed. And Mon, we have we have talked about this D-line play all year and the struggles that have been going on, and we talked about even the Bengals putting a lot of this on the shoulders of these young defensive linemen. I mean, this D-line is really young. How do you think this D-line played today? And again, the Browns O-line is not terrible. This Bengals D-line, the young guys starting to come around, man.
Yeah, the Browns have struggled a little bit on the offensive line, but they do have a lot of very quality starters, some guys that have been all pros in the past. The young guys are playing really well. They get better every week. The Bengals used 3 draft picks in this draft on defensive linemen, and they all made plays today. McKinley Jackson, to me, keeps on getting better. I'm really intrigued by him. Chris Jenkins, we know what he is. He's going to be a good pro. Cedric Johnson looked really good today. I'm really happy with him. Hey, Black Panther, I just want to let you know we're very happy with the win today. We really are. But at the same time, we got to acknowledge the shortfalls of this game. There were some ugly moments, and that doesn't make you negative. That makes you a real fan. We're not here just going to, gloss over every aspects of this game. We got to acknowledge the rough patches. That doesn't make us negative. So I appreciate you watching, though.
All right. So, and again, we talked about it. Joseph Asai, although I'm not really sure Joseph Asai played great today. He did have 5 tackles, 4 solos, and obviously had the sack and a tackle for loss. Trey Hendrickson gets his 13th and a half sack, league leading. Again, it's just so hard to come to terms with the fact of having the top players in the 3 most important positions on the field at edge rusher and receiver and quarterback. And we're still talking about having to scoreboard watch right now, but that's where we are. Gino Stone. Let's talk about Gino Stone. And we do have a super chat that I want to get to as well, but real quick on the Gino Stone. Okay, let me see. Okay, I got you. The Gino Stone today with another interception. That's 4 picks on the year, and again, he's a guy that we've been very tough on this show, and I mean, if reasonably so. But Gino Stone, it feels like maybe he's starting to come into his own a little bit. Still struggling making open field tackles, yes. But Gino Stone looks like he might be the guy that we were hoping for. Justin, your thoughts on Gino?
Yeah, well, you kind of wondered coming off last year with 7 interceptions, I believe, right?
Yes, 7 interceptions.
You wondered, though, if that was kind of like one of those one-hit wonder seasons that he parlayed into a nice little deal elsewhere. But I think we're starting to see, and he did have a slow start to the year, but we're starting to see him come on, and hopefully this is indicative of the fact that it's not, and that he does have a really good place in the league moving forward, and a good place in the Bengals safety rotation. But yeah, he keeps just making plays. He's obviously not the most athletic guy, but he seems to have a knack for being in the right place at the right time, having those instincts at safety that are so critical to being an impact player at that position.
Yeah, and Jennifer, yes, you're right. I hope so as well, because we do have him for another year. Eric, can we get to that super chat? Did you see the super chat on there from JP?
Yep, just to tie the bow on that Gino Stone pick.
Absolutely.
Shout out to was it DJ Ivy with the great coverage, the knocking that ball up, and then props to Gino Stone. That was a one-handed grab. I mean, that was not an easy catch, and what we've said all year long, we've had issues sealing the deal, and he completed that play. So shout out to him.
Yes.
Great way to just complete the deal there. Let's go to the super chat. KP from KC, appreciate it. Do we pay BJ Hill or do we find a replacement? This
Great
is
question. Great question.
I love it, Mon. You take this one because you
I think
like BJ.
He has been a very, very quality starter. He's played really well this year. I know the defensive line, we've been very critical of it. The defense as a whole has struggled this year, but he's been one of the better players on defense. I think if the price is right, you need to bring him back because he's one of our best defensive linemen. Hey, wow. Wow. Okay. I think BJ Hill should definitely come back, and I hope he is.
Yeah. Again, I'm with you, Mon. I think BJ Hill, besides Trey Hendrickson, BJ Hill's been the most consistent player on the defensive line for us. and especially in the interior of the defensive line where we have not had a lot of consistency. So I'm a big BJ Hill guy, 100%. Do whatever it takes to get BJ Hill back. Justin, your thoughts?
Well, he will be 30 next April, so I'm kind of in the Mon camp at that. If you can get the deal done at the right price, you don't have to break the bank,
Yes.
and the terms make sense, then absolutely. Because he has been a good, solid contributor for several years now. So yeah, if you can bring him back and without having to go too far overboard on a contract, then absolutely.
So
One thing I just want to say.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Justin.
I just want to say one thing on the D line and kind of the young guys getting thrown into the fray. Jenkins and Jackson dealt with injuries early on in the season, so they were kind of behind the 8 ball.
That's a good point.
And I think we're starting to see them come on, not just because the season's progressing, but because they were kind of had to catch up. I have to wonder what the season would look like if those guys have been fully healthy starting at the beginning of training camp and had a full season to contribute.
Yeah, I just want to add
one point.
I just want to add one more thing. We said this a few weeks ago. They have promising young players on defense, especially on that defensive line. We talk about the trenches all the time. You just don't see that on the offensive line. Yes, Mims is a solid player, but we don't really have many interior guys that are promising up-and-coming players. So I think the Bengals need to do something about that. And I think they will this offseason. But I'm excited about this defense, really excited.
And I think, so unless somebody throws crazy money at BJ Hill, I think you got to bring him back because of those young players. He is one of those last big voices in that locker room, and he can mentor those guys. It's worth it to pay the man for 2 to 3 years, even if he's only getting a few snaps a game, if he's able to impart his knowledge and wisdom onto those younger guys. We have another great comment here, a question from Victoria Mitchell earlier on. Going into the half, it looked like we were going to punt the ball to end out the half, and Victoria brings up a good point. Does anybody else think that they weren't going for that field goal before the half until Zac told them that they needed to go for it and talked some sense into Zac Taylor? I personally think so, and it makes no sense why Zac wouldn't have been attempting that kick. But what do you guys think?
Great question, Victoria. Great question.
Great question, Victoria. And let me, first of all, shout out to Cade York for tying the franchise record on that 59-yard field goal. And it was a huge field goal because really once the Browns got back into the football game, they were having to chase those points. So that was a big kick by York. I know he missed one earlier, but big kick by him. Honestly, Victoria, I'm gonna say this. I think the Bengals were going to punt the football, and I think the Cleveland Browns screwed this up. It was a huge coaching error by them letting the time run down. They had 3 timeouts. If they would have called a timeout when they stopped the Bengals on 3rd down, I think the Bengals punt. I really do. The Bengals aren't throwing a Hail Mary with 30 seconds left from there. But the Browns let it run all the way down. The Bengals said thank you, took a timeout with 3 seconds left and attempted a field goal. I'm going to say my thought was initially that the Cleveland Browns screwed the pooch on that one. What do you guys think?
I read that differently. I'm sorry. It looked like Joe Burrow convinced him, like, hey, what are you doing? Just try the kick. And
I'm just talking about before that. Before all of that, when the time Cleveland let the time run down.
Right. Yeah, I don't really understand.
It doesn't make any sense what Cleveland was doing there, and that's my point. Is I don't know about what all was going to happen. I think the Bengals were going to punt because if Cade York misses a 59-yarder, they're getting the ball on the 50-yard line.
Maybe they thought because Cade York used to be a Brown, like, hey, there's no way they're going to bring him out.
That's
true.
They
thought that.
That's true.
Maybe they thought, hey, there's no way.
He had a long of 58, though, I think, right?
I think Victoria's point was Joe talked him into trying that kick. I do think that Zac was still punting the ball with 3 seconds left. Victoria's point is Joe talked him into that.
Oh, if that's the case, then good Lord, Zac Taylor, why would you not try a field goal with 3 seconds?
Or a Hail Mary.
Or a Hail Mary, yeah.
Great question.
Or just let Jamar catch it for 10 yards and go because Jamar could beat everybody.
Joe doesn't have a noodle arm. He could get it down there.
No,
but that was a great question. Victoria's a regular on Spaces. It's a great Bengal fan.
Well, let's talk about this offense, guys, because Joe Burrow, once again, 23 of 30, 252, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Again, just a great performance by him. I know this strip sack thing. I know Joe Burrow is going to get blamed for that, and rightfully. I mean, you got to protect the football, but good Lord, what a terrible play call in that situation. You got 2 downs. You got to run the football. Chase Brown, 18 carries for 91 yards. Give Chase Brown the ball. So, I don't want to hear all the Joe Burrow bashing on the fumble thing. That's just a terrible – you're putting Joe Burrow in a bad situation in that moment. Yes.
Just my point on that, and I texted to the group, if you're going to pass there, you got to have T. Higgins out there, have Yoshi out there, have Jamar Chase out there. Don't line up and try and get silly with it and run a weird play action that everybody blows up. Let Joe Burrow spread him out and do what he's done so well this year, improvise. Instead, I was surprised that we didn't have another lineman pass because they're just trying to get too cute. Either smash it in there and let Chase Brown run it in, or let Joe Burrow spread him out and improvise. Nope, got to get too smart with it.
And we have a great comment here from Mary Thomas, who is the better half of your son, Jake Abelhassan. Mary, that's a great comment. Jake is in the other room. I don't know if you can hear me. But yeah, it's a great comment, Mary. Great comment. You're right. He does. I think he does get kind of caught up and stuck in the procedure thing instead of feeling out the game. We have seen that from him for forever. Have we not?
Is that Mary? Yeah. Okay, cool.
There's Jay. You're better.
I was like, I hope
you're better.
I hope it's the right Mary.
Listen, well, hold on. For our audio listeners, let's read the comment and explain what just happened. So Mary said, sometimes I just think Zac Taylor forgets about football. He gets stuck in procedure and what typically happens. And for those that did not see, Jake, Mon's son Jake, not named after Coach Owens.
Yes, he was.
Jake just popped into it. Yeah.
He's named after Jake from 16 Candles. His name is Jake Ryan Abelhassan. 16 Candles, best movie ever.
And Mon just
I can't believe you just admitted that on.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was not in that.
Yeah, so he's not. Thank you, Justin. You see, guys, let me tell you something. I've known Justin.
Long duck dong.
I've known Justin well over a decade, and it's taken me that long to convince him that Arnold Schwarzenegger is the best
Arnold
actor
Schwarzenegger got
of our generation.
Over for 16 Candles, and Jake
of our generation. All right, let's get back onto this thing.
So all right. So one of the big observations that I had, the third quarter of the offense really stalled out. And part of the reasons that it stalled out was Amarius Mims was not on the field. We saw Cochran out there playing right tackle. Nobody really knew what was going on. And then we saw some cuts to the sideline where Amarius Mims was just going at Frank Pollock to the point where I'm surprised Frank Pollock didn't get run out of the stadium. Get a little bit more information here from Zac Taylor. Apparently Amarius Mims had a left ankle tweak, and Amarius wanted to go back in the game, and Frank Pollock wanted him to stay on the sideline and eat glass. And to me, that was one of the greatest things that I've seen was Amarius putting to Frank Pollock. So what are you guys' thoughts on the value that Amarius clearly brings to this offensive line and that interaction?
Well, let me take this one. Let me take this one because I am the one that stood here, right here in this spot, and begged the Bengals to draft Amarius Mims.
Revisionist history.
You got to play that receipt. You got to find it.
Everybody knows that's not true. He obviously huge. I mean, listen, Devin Cochran, again, the guy has not played a lot of football, and we don't really know where he is. And I think this is something that Mon has talked about and makes such a good point about this is there's so much young talent. I know you just said this. I'm not repeating you. I just want to make sure everybody heard what you said because it's such a good point and an emphasis on how badly maybe that some of this
roster construction.
Roster construction. I love how you say that is put together. That this Bengals offensive line is just not. I mean, first of all, it's not very good anyways, and once you get to that second level, it's really bad. So. Amarius Mims to me has become really the anchor on this offensive line, which is crazy to think that that a rookie is that. But Orlando Brown Jr. has not been able to stay healthy. Trent Brown went down early in the season, and we lost him for the season. And the interior of this offensive line is just not good, guys. So yeah, I mean, Amarius Mims, he has been a big part of this, and it's going to be interesting. Again, when you start having those issues on the sideline, there's underlying things there, right? There's something. I don't know if this offensive line believes in Pollock anymore. And I think that's a telling thing. Pollock will not be back on this football team next year, Mon.
I don't think Pollock will either. I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like I'm backtracking here. The offensive line has struggled. I've been a fierce critic of it on Twitter, on the show. I have been. I got to give the Bengals credit. They have tried to make it better. All right. Alex Kappa played good early on in his Bengal career, but his leg injuries have caught up to him. He is not the player he was a couple years ago. Volson, listen, he started every game since he's been drafted. He just hasn't developed like we expected him to. Karras is okay. He's the best of the three. Karras would be a great guard.
He didn't play bad today.
He did not. But our two guards are bottom tier NFL guards.
Yes.
You mentioned it. Brown just can't stay healthy. Mims is the star of the team. When you're playing the Cleveland Browns, who has a great defensive line, in the third quarter, you saw it. They were teeing off. Jim Schwartz, a great defensive coordinator, he knows, I got to get the Burrow. I'm going to cause fumbles. I got to cause turnovers. I'm going to get an interception, something. He wanted to create havoc, and he did. That's where Zac Taylor has to adjust. You have to react to that. You know what Jim Schwartz is doing. Joe Burrow ran for 16 yards on a first down. Remember that? I think it was in the second quarter.
Yep.
All right. 3 straight passes. Run it again. It was under 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, and that led to the 59-yard field goal.
It was.
It's just, I think Joe Goodberry even said it. They didn't run two plays in a row, 2 consecutive running plays.
No, they did not.
Or they did maybe only a handful of times. Sometimes slow down that pass rush, run the ball, burn them. Because they blitzed a few times. Situationally, he's just a horrible play caller. I know the offense has been phenomenal, but I'm sorry, guys. That's the way I feel, and that's how I feel.
Well, the offense is phenomenal because we have 4 really. Chase Brown, Justin, is. Listen, I know he's not going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, but good Lord, he has been the really. It's crazy because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are having these incredible years. Jamar today, 6 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 8 catches, 58 yards and a touchdown. Yoshivas, 3 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown. And Justin, you said that's his 10th career, right? In 2 years. Yep. Not too bad there. Again, Bengals don't have any problem drafting wide receivers and quarterbacks. Chase Brown has just been, again, 91 yards receiving, 18 yards receiving, 91 yards rushing, over 100 total yards again. Justin, Chase Brown has been the dude, right?
He's been everything we wanted. Yeah, he's been lighting it up for my fantasy team. He's, I think when he was drafted, we were kind of seeing him as like a change of pace guy potentially, because he is a kind of a home run threat, has plenty of speed. But I think this year he has sort of developed and shown that he can potentially be an every down guy. That he runs tougher than we expected, that he gives you ability out of the backfield as a receiver, that he has that big play ability as well. He just keeps getting it done every week. And in that third quarter, I would have liked to have seen him get the ball more to try to, get the pressure that's coming from the Browns. Do something to try to slow that down. Some screen passes, just get it to Chase Brown a few times. I don't know.
And yes, Ben. I don't know if I said he was a rookie. Obviously, Chase Brown is not a rookie. This is his second year. But yes, again, but really, he's not a rookie. But he is a rookie, right? This is his second year. It's his first opportunity to make plays. Eric, I want to talk to you. I want to get your opinion on this. Jordan Battle. Again, another one of those young defensive players that is becoming a staple on this defense. Jordan Battle today looked like one of the best players on the field. Eric, give me your thoughts on Jordan Battle and the way he's played these last couple of weeks.
So the first thing that comes to my mind, and I got to circle this back to him, the first thing that comes to my mind was one of the last plays he made. He was flying in there to make a tackle, and I thought it was Mike Hilton.
I did
And
too. I did too.
I said to Austin, could he be our next Mike Hilton? And then I shook myself. We have Mike Hilton, and oh my God, shout out to Mike Hilton. Why have we
Yes.
not talked about him yet?
Yes.
Essentially 2 quarterback sacks behind the line of scrimmage. Like I said, I don't think they gave him credit for him, but Mike Hilton was the game destroyer out there today. It looked like he was 5 years younger. Man, that, talk about Mike Hilton. I mean, Jordan Battle, I'm really excited that he's out there. He's really coming into his own, kind of solidifying himself as one of our starting safeties next year, and I'm very excited for that. But we got to give Mike Hilton his flowers, man. Hopefully this isn't his last year in Cincinnati, because he looked like he got the fountain of youth these last few weeks, and especially today. What do you guys think about his performance?
Oh, we talked about it on the show, Eric. I mean, they got to re-sign Mike Hilton. He's got to be one of the top priorities in the offseason. The guy is he's still one of the best nickel corners in the league. And again, he is, don't get me wrong, there has been times this year where he has looked really bad in coverage, Justin, but
Yeah.
I mean, he is definitely the best blitzing defensive back in the NFL and one of the best tacklers in the open field. Justin, your thoughts on Mike Hilton? I mean, he's got to be back, right? I mean, the Bengals got to re-sign him.
Well, yeah, I definitely think, again, you're talking about guys going to be 31 next year. So
Yeah.
financially it needs to make sense. But, yeah, and I think I feel like the depth at the corner position probably has forced him into some situations in terms of coverage that has probably contributed to him not looking to be on the same level as he has been in recent years. So if they can address the corner position as a whole, because it looks like the safety position might be coming around a little bit as Battle steps up, as Stone solidifies his presence. Although I would like to see him add someone there who can give him a little more athleticism, because I do think the one drawback of a Battle Stone tandem at safety is they lack that explosiveness there that you have with someone like Jesse Bates.
Right.
But yeah, no, Hilton needs to be a priority, and hopefully they can get it done at the right price, just like BJ Hill.
So just talk about, guys, go to Mon for this first, but let's talk about next year's cornerback room based on injuries. Cam Taylor-Britt has gotten back to playing more like Cam Taylor-Britt's, back to playing the way he's supposed to play. Dax Hill looked like our best corner out there possibly. DJ Turner was playing like our number 1 corner when he went out. You add, you've got those 3 guys right there, and you have Mike Hilton and Fig Newton coming on. Is corner still a big need for this team, or are they kind of coming back to what they should have been?
I just want to add something about Hilton. Hilton is sort of the emotional leader. I talk about the lack of physicality on defense. It's amazing that a 5'8" cornerback is our physicality guy. He is just fearless, and I think that alone, if the price is right, like Justin said, I think he should come back. Eric, they've spent 7-8 draft picks on defensive backs in the last 3 drafts. They're very young back there. I think they need another vet. And if you get another cornerback in the first 2 rounds, you got to pick them. It's a premium spot. You can never have enough of them. We still don't know what Dax Hill is. Is he going to stay at corner? Is he going to go back to safety? I'm going to give you a name of a defensive back. He's not a cornerback. I think he's the future at safety. It's a hot take today on the 22nd. Dejon Anthony is going to be a star for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm telling you that right now. His athletic score is really good. I think they love him on special teams. I think he's going to end up being a key part in that safety room over the next few years. Just remember this, guys. Remember this episode. I said it. If it's wrong, it's on him.
Yeah, I'm going to remember this one. We're definitely keeping receipts on this one. Justin, you are our college guru. Let's get Justin's take, because I think Justin knows the ins and outs of where or who is coming out. Is defensive back still a priority, Justin, in the draft? Is there anybody worth looking at?
No, now you're putting me on the spot. I would say, to me, and I think Mom made a great point. Yes, I do think you have potentially with Hill and Turner and Newton and Taylor-Britt, you have a nice core, but do you have a true number 1 corner in there? I'm not sure yet. You've got some nice pieces to work with, but yeah, adding a vet, who Who were we talking about earlier, Mon, about bringing back corner wise?
Well, if you're talking about prospects in the draft, I'm thinking the cornerback from Michigan, like a Will Johnson, but
yeah,
he's
or,
not.
Or Travis Hunter, but
Yeah.
well, he's not going.
They're not going to be there. The
No.
Bengals are looking at about 17 to 18 draft. They're not going to get one of those guys. But I think, yeah, 32nd. Thank you so much. You're right. I hope you're right, Eric. I hope you're right. I'm sorry.
So here's the
My
hypothetical.
dog agrees.
Okay, here's the hypothetical, and we'll throw this to Justin. The Bengals are sitting there at 32 on the clock, and the top players available are the number one player available is a corner. The third best player on the board is an offensive guard, and the fifth best player on the board is a defensive tackle. Justin, who are you drafting? Oh, you're muted. You're muted now.
Repeat it. Go ahead.
Go ahead. We have Amazon here. It's barking. Go ahead.
Who let the dogs out? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're sitting at number 32 on the board in the 2025 draft. The number one player available is a corner. The number 5 player available is an offensive guard. The number 3 player available is a defensive tackle. Let's go different. Defensive end. Who you drafting, Justin?
I would say the corner.
Mon?
Cornerback.
You're not going guard instead of corner? Jake?
I want to go highest rated player, bud.
Yeah, I'm going
Super Bowl, so it's fine.
I'm going defense. I think. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. Right. I mean, I think every draft pick this year needs to be a defensive player. I've always been on the belief that you build an offensive line from free agency. I think I'm that way because the Bengals are so bad at developing offensive linemen. So I don't want to see any rookies. I know Amarius Mims is playing great. I know that, but I do not want to see. I do not want to see the Bengals going out and trying to rebuild this offensive line through the draft. I think there needs to be a veteran presence. In that inside of the offensive line.
Can I just repeat something? I just want to say this. Dave Lapham said it months ago on a podcast. It's just etched in my head now what he said. And I mean, of course, we've heard it before from other people, but the way he said it, the team that controls the line of scrimmage controls the game. It's that simple. It is that simple. They have to get better in the trenches. I don't care if it's draft, free agency. They got to get better. They got to get more physical. All right. We have a lot more football to play. The pieces that we have are looking better. I appreciate that. And I'm hoping you're right, Eric. I hope we make a run. I hope if we get into the playoffs, everybody's 0-0. We start the season over. All right. Let's just hopefully the football gods take care of us and we get in somehow. We just got to keep on winning. That's all we can control. But we have to get better in the trenches, guys. If we want to get where we want to be, we have to get better in the trenches.
Hi, real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Jake, so to your question, I mean, we talked about the two kind of, I would say, elite corners in this draft, and Hunter and Will Johnson out of Michigan. Last year was a deep year at corner, but there wasn't really like that guy.
Right.
This year you got Hunter is potentially a number 1 overall pick, but at worst he's a top 5. Will Johnson will probably go in the top 15 or so picks. We'll kind of have to see how the pre-draft process plays out, but once you get past those two, there's a bit of a drop-off, but it is a very deep year, and there's a lot of intriguing prospects. So this is probably a good year where the Bengals could look to address that position, rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there.
Well, that's good. I mean,
that's probably ideal.
Yeah, I would think that would be ideal as well. Just real quick, guys, just to update you. Oh, Jeff, by the way, the Cincy chili was good today, right? Yes. Yeah, it was. It was good. It was really good. Mon had some conies here for us. What kind of hot dogs were those? Those were really good too.
Hebrew Nationals.
Very good.
I wouldn't get one at Publix. Publix is in Florida.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing in Kentucky yet, in Cincinnati, but it's coming.
Jennifer, I agree with you 100%. Carter from Penn State is the ideal pick for me. He is my number 1 guy on the board. I absolutely love Carter from Penn State. Jennifer, as always, great takes by you. Real quick, guys, just to update you, Dolphins 49ers tied right now at 0. Obviously, we are big 49er fans today. The Tennessee Titans let us down against the Colts, so Come on, 49ers, we need you today. Mon, I want to ask you this, because in the Joe Burrow time frame as a Bengal, we have seen this time in and time again, and we talk about it all the time. These Bengals-Browns games every year seem to be the Bengals get the ball, drive all the way down inside the red zone, turn the ball over, the Browns score, and we lose the football game. Today was flipped, right? So talk about that, Mon, real quick. The momentum swing, because we haven't talked about this yet. That fumble caused by Von Bell and recovered by Von Bell, it really flipped the momentum of this football game and really turned the tide of what we're used to seeing on the other side of the football.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it just made me think of previous games where that happened to us. I mean, you were talking about it earlier in the day. We threw a pick six to Denzel Ward, and that flipped the game. We drive down.
Yes.
And so it happened, but we flipped it. And Crypt Keeper, yes, Long Duck Dong could run that offense. I didn't want to put that up. Thank you, Crypt Keeper. No, but
you
it was a momentum changer. It really was at the 1 yard line. Guys, I mean, the first play of the game, they ran a 60-yard. Jerome Ford ran a 60 yards up the middle. And I'm like, man, I tell you what, this football season is bonkers. But it worked out for us.
And a great hustle play. I think it was CTV, right? Cam Taylor-Britt made the tackle on him. Again, that's why we always tell our players all the time, man, you never give up on a play until the whistle blows. And we've seen that time in and time again where a guy makes a hustle play like that down the field on a big type of play, and like a big chunk play, and a guy hustles down the field, sometimes it flips the script, and it did today. 49 Dolphins just kicked a field goal, and they are up 3-0 on the 49ers. And somehow, in this crazy world that we live in, the New England Patriots are beating the Bills 7-0 and driving again. It makes no sense. So yes,
Zac Taylor calling the plays for the Bills. Sorry.
Ooh, that was.
I apologize. I don't hate Zac Taylor.
So again, guys, this talking about this playoff scenario right now for the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, no matter what, when the Bengals win next week, which, by the way, I am excited. I'm going to be going to the Bengals-Broncos game. I will be in Cincy. So hit me up, guys. I'd love to hang out. But yes, Bengals-Broncos. The Bengals win that football game next weekend, the Bengals, no matter what, are playing Week 18 for a chance to make the playoffs. Again, Colts still have to lose one out of the next two. The Dolphins have to lose one out of the next three. And obviously, the Broncos have to lose to the Chiefs, which, by the way, we have to be big Steeler fans next week, which is going to be very hard and just disgusting to root for that disgusting football team. But go Steelers next week, I guess. Good Lord.
Hear the Christmas speech.
Oh, God, I can't believe we got to root for the Steelers.
Let's just talk.
Maybe Bane will show up.
Let's talk. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about how much more fun this is to be sitting here rooting for the Bengals to win instead of talking about, oh, I wish they would have lost so we'd get better draft position. I don't care if it costs us, a 12th pick to an 18th pick, going out and winning, the last however many games to get to 9-8. 9-8 is so much more fun. We may not get the 5,000 views that we get when we lose, but I'll take one viewer just so that we can win out and enjoy cheering for this team.
Well, let's talk about let's go around the table and talk about thoughts on where the Bengals stand right now and what the chances are. Eric, I'm going to start with you because I already know what's already going to be said.
Listen,
so let's just get this out of the way. Eric, you go ahead and start us on this thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that say the NFL is scripted, and I'll just say Roger Goodell, NFL. Any of you super high up conspiracy guys that are running this show, This is the greatest story ever told. You will make so many movies about this if you let these Bengals get into the playoffs. This is a sports writer's dream. This is a book author's dream. For everything that needs to happen to get the Cincinnati Bengals into the playoffs, that has happened and that's about to happen, this is shaping up to sell so many jerseys, so many books, make the movies. I don't know who's going to play Mon in the movie, but there's going to be somebody epic. This is shaping up to be the greatest of all time. So lean into it. Come on, Roger Goodell, make this happen. That's what I got to say.
Who would play Mon in a movie?
Well, we know. Wait, hold on. Before we get there, we know that Bruce Gradkowski is playing Jake.
No, The Rock, definitely. The Rock.
Wow.
I have people have told me The Rock looks very similar to me in build and stature.
Don't make me put up Gradkowski up here.
Mon.
Hold on. On that,
Mon.
we do have a doppelganger in the house. Do you see Justin's growing the Mon stash back there?
Yeah. All right, Mon. Well, let's get to Mon, Brad Pitt, Abba Hassan here. Mon, your thoughts on the playoff scenario right now, where the Bengals stand, and what you think the chances are of this thing all unwinding the way we want it to.
The last 2 weeks, things have lined up pretty well for us. We still need a lot of help. I hate that. I'd like to go one football season where I don't have to depend on other teams to help us out. I want to control our own destiny. We take care of business next week. It's going to be an interesting final week of the season. We already know that the Colts and the Dolphins need to lose a game. I think everything is lining up in a positive way. It's still going to be tough for it to happen. I will say this. I know we talked about it a little bit. A lot of fans on Twitter want us to lose, have better draft stock. I'm not wired that way. I can't do it. I respect your views. I respectfully disagree with all those fans. Yes. I want to win. I always want to win. I can't root against my team.
Yes.
And you know what? I just want to say this to the draftniks. There's a lot of NFL teams that are very good at drafting third, fourth, and fifth rounders. It's not luck. They do it year in and year out. Look at the Rams. They do it because they have a very competent staff that can do that. We need to start doing that. We need to start hitting on these picks. We do at times, but a lot of times we really don't. Jackson, I can name them, But it's just, it doesn't matter where you draft, guys. You just have to hit with your draft picks at that spot. You have to.
Yes.
There's quality players there, and it's not always the player. It's the development of the coaching staff that's enshrined to develop that player. Sometimes we're lacking there. But we'll talk about the draft coming.
And there's not a huge difference between 18 and 28, guys. There's not a huge difference anywhere in that realm. I mean,
18 and 22nd. God, why can't you
right?
Oh, yeah.
Sid.
What about Eric Estrada?
Eric Estrada's going. Sid, that's a good one. Cheech Marin, yes, playing Mon. I love it. That's a great one, Sid.
Buddy, when I retire, there's going to be a lot of good gummies in my life. That's when I retire.
Justin, your thoughts on the season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put any percentages on it. There's still a lot that has to happen. Like Mon said, it's you need a Miami loss, you need a Colts loss, you need to beat the Broncos next week. I think you need Germany to declare a land war against France, and then the Bengals are in the playoffs. So, but that's how it goes. It at least has gotten interesting. I wish this turnaround would have happened a little sooner, but better late than never. At least it's made the last few weeks the season interesting and fun to follow again.
Yeah.
And we're not over here, trying to slit our wrists in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I already said that. I spoke my mind.
Oh no, you were.
Yeah, I thought Eric, you gonna put that up from Mr. Jones there?
Yeah, I was gonna actually leave that for the end of the show. You guys got any?
Great.
Okay, cool. Yes. I'll throw my 2 cents in. And again, like I said, crazier things have happened, and it sucks. It sucks that we are where we are right now, and I understand frustrations. There's frustration on this end too. From Mon and I, you guys see it every week, but this Bengals team, to me, it deserves to be in the playoffs. Now, coaching aside, whatever, the coaching staff, put them aside. But these players, the way that Burrow has played, and Jamar and Trey and Chase Brown and T and Amarius Mims, a guy that we talked about today. These guys deserve to be in the playoffs, and you know, for me, I would absolutely love to see it. Yes, I know things have to happen, but it is. Mon said it. It is the trajectory right now of this thing is pointing in a very positive manner, guys, for the Cincinnati Bengals. No matter what happens today, the Bengals still have a great shot at this thing next week. And if they win next week, when they win next week, it is going to be, like Mon said, a very interesting final week. Go ahead, Eric.
All right.
Eric scared me a little bit. You're a little intense, Eric.
You're very intense. He's very.
Well,
look,
you know
he's
what?
turning
I've
red.
got 3 of you ganging up on me in that room, so
He's very red.
I got one question for you guys. I know Jake's answer, so I'm going to go to Justin and Mon on this. The Bengals win out. The Bengals get into the playoffs. Is Joe Burrow the MVP? Justin. Is he voted the MVP? Because the one thing that's keeping him out is us being in the playoffs. We get into the playoffs. Does Joe Burrow, let's say top 3 in vote getters for MVP this year?
Okay, so if the Bengals get in the playoffs, he will be in the top 3.
Let's go top 3, yeah.
Okay, probably. I mean, right now you got 4. You've got Barkley, Allen, and Jackson all have strong cases. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, if the Bengals get in the playoffs, yeah, I'd say Joe will be top 3 for sure.
I believe Joe will be, if they get into the playoffs, Joe will be top 3. I think he'll finish second. I really do.
Even though
I think Barkley's going to have it.
passing
I think
yards,
Barkley,
5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I get it. I think
1
Barkley,
touchdown interception.
Barkley's having a special
Well,
year.
you know, Lamar is 37-4, so
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Lamar's going to stumble. Okay, so
I
that's
think
two for him winning the MVP and 2 for he's not going to win the MVP, because I know Jake's agreeing with me on this.
Oh, 100%. I listen, if the Bengals make the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, you might as well, it's a shoo-in. Joe Burrow will be the MVP. If the Bengals make the playoffs, Joe Burrow will be guaranteed. Hot take, hotter than Mon's take, Joe Burrow will be the MVP.
I'm sweating in here. It's so hot.
Jake's always got the hot takes.
All these hot takes. Whoa.
Whoa.
17 and Joe.
Guaranteed.
It's radiating from 6 miles away from your house. Whoa.
Listen, it took a little while for my hot take to come up, but we get to the Super Bowl. That's all that matters. We got almost 500 people in here. We do.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Put up this comment from Julius Jones before we get out of here. So they watch us every week in Virginia on a ride. Oh, hopefully listen to us every time for Virginia on a ride to work, and then Ace and Sim the next day. Thank you guys all for all you do. Merry Christmas. And with that, we do want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. We probably won't be doing a show until after next game, being so much the holidays going on. We'll see how that goes. Maybe Mon and I will go Thursday night. I'm not sure on that, but we do want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Hope everybody's safe out there this week. If you're going to partake a little too much in the spirits, please don't drive. We need all of our listeners. We need all of our fans there in the stadium on Saturday and watching us on the Pulse right after the game.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. Yes. Merry Christmas to everybody again. You guys are just incredible, and over 500 and almost 500 here right now. We're just so appreciative. Again, you know, you guys are the reason why Mon and I now are going on 3 years now, right? 3 years on the Bengals Pulse, and you guys are the reason why. I know, right? It's crazy. But you guys are the reason why, and we love you. We appreciate you. I know I say it all the time, but Mon and I genuinely mean it, and we love coming on here all the time and talking Bengals with you guys. So thank you guys very much for everything. Definitely Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Be safe, and the Patriots just went up 13-0 on the Buffalo Bills. Mon.
Merry Christmas to all. We appreciate every single one of you. I interact with a lot of you on Twitter and in Spaces. Listen, this has been an uneven season. Being a Bengal fan can be tough, but I will never complain about it or quit being a Bengal fan. I absolutely love it. Thanks for being my counselors, every one of you. You guys have helped me through this emotional roller coaster. No, I really appreciate you all. Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. Please be safe. I hope Santa's good to you. Yash, thank you over there in England, buddy. We appreciate it.
Yes, Yash, and we will definitely, if we get
Thank
over
you,
there.
Victoria. Love you on Spaces.
Hey,
Yes,
I think as long as France doesn't invade Germany or backwards, I think next year we're going to be playing in Germany. So I know it's not London, but maybe we can make a Bengals Pulse trip.
Yeah, listen, Yash has got connections.
He does.
Yash has got connections.
We'll talk to Paul from Bengals UK and Crypt Keeper. I want you to watch 16 Candles tonight. Mandatory.
Why did we get on John Hughes films today? How did that even happen?
To Crypt Keeper's comment, he says we got to put this out there for the audio listeners, and then he says, where there is smoke on the horizon, you best call the fireman. Who did a great show, guys. I have to say, I haven't been with you guys for 3 years, although I've been listening. I will take credit for producing for 3 years because we were in Cincinnati, opening game, 6 months after you started the podcast, and I looked at Mon and I said, why is your Twitter handle not the fireman?
That's right. You did do that.
It's the first thing that I produced for this show. And
you did. And Eric, I changed it after you taught me how to change it.
Right there. Yeah, there you go.
That's my guy. That's my producer. So hey, listen. As Eric said, guys, not sure what's going to happen this week. I am leaving for the Natty. I'm leaving Thursday morning, so I'll be up there next week, and I'm so excited. If you guys see me wandering around, please come up. Let's talk football. Make sure you come over and say hi to me. Real quick before we get out of here, once again, Mon, Darth Bengal, you are the man. Thank you so much for these. This is an awesome start to Christmas, is it not, Mon? So thank you, Darth Bengal. Again, just another great listener. We appreciate you guys and love you guys. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you give us that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. As always, follow Mon on Twitter at @TheFireMon. Thank you, Eric. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens 9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's 88. Follow the Cincinnati Podcast Network on Twitter at Cincinnati Pod. Follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9, and follow our good buddy Justin on Twitter at Justin L. Wells. Again, guys, as always, check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Cincinnati Podcast Network. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Be safe out there. We will be joining you. You guys will be going right after the game. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So Eric, come on. I'll try to get in from the stadium. Justin, thanks very much, man, for checking in today with us and joining us on the show. For Justin and Mon and Eric and me, thank you guys so much. We love you and appreciate you. Hooday, Bengal fans. We're still in this thing, Mon.
Yeah, Eric, what's the E-Flash? Were you like a break dancer back in the day or
Oh,
something?
boy. Why did you do a dad joke before we got out of here? Why would you do a dad
ended
joke?
with a great story. I was a
Hey, the
bag boy at a grocery store.
fans love it. Say something nice, somebody. Come on, Bob. Help me out.
I was a bag boy at a grocery store, and I was so fast bagging those groceries, it was like the Flash.
No. Okay, the show's
The
over.
most Midwestern story you'll ever get. Hooday, Bengals fans.
The stream
See you on
ended.
Saturday.
Hooday.